Here you can see that XRP is in a downtrend. And if we throw both the 100 EMA and 200 EMA onto the price chart, we can also see that these are indicating that there is a breakdown and we have further to go, indicating further downside for XRP. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we are jumping down into the price action for XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we expect to happen next. As I get into this video, smash that like button if you find it useful and informative. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, stay up to date with everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪. And if you haven't yet joined us down in the Discord, links in the description below. Okay, let's make a start. Here we have XRP paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, I'm just going to zoom out of this just for a moment. So I want to reflect on kind of what we're looking at here. Okay, we have this yellow box area just here. This is basically 41.15 to 43.74 cent. Okay, this is previously a good area of demand. Okay, so if I go ahead and just type it on this side here, we'll go in with demand. Okay, now this particular area, as you can kind of see, we come in, there's lots of demand that basically buys up the XRP and it takes it out of this yellow box range. Okay, we come over here, we had a very similar situation. We bounced into it, we tried to find this as a really good strong demand zone. However, we broke all the way down, so this actually turned this particular area from demand into supply. Okay, this is also known as support and resistance. It really depends on how you prefer to look at things, but essentially it's the same terminology. It's different terminology, same scenario: support, resistance, supply, demand. Okay, so just think of it this way: there were buyers this side and now there's sellers in this particular area. Okay, so as we kind of think about this, we kind of broke back down, we can see that we come back up, we tested this particular area just here and we got rejected. So what I want to do is I want to grab another little yellow box and I'm just going to draw this on right about here. As you can kind of see, this little slither, is where we got rejected. Now, we haven't retested any of these areas just yet. So my expectation here is that we've got to retest this particular zone and see whether or not there's going to be demand or resistance. Whether or not we're going to see a lot more supply dragging the price of XRP down from this particular area. Now, my expectations would be that we do find more supply entering. Basically, people are willing to sell at that particular price, and price falls down lower. Okay, so there's a few things we need to kind of consider. Now, obviously on this channel, really like Elliott wave theory, but I also like to kind of break down what actually makes price move. This is supply and demand. Okay, where are the sellers, where are the buyers, and how does that relate to Elliott wave theory, right? So in this particular scenario here, I do want to kind of pull attention to this particular wick area here, right? We had this move to the downside and a lot of buying pressure happening in here for XRP. Now, a lot of this is retail driven. A lot of this is speculative investments and things like that around the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And, I understand that. But we do have to be aware that that's probably not going to conclude anytime soon. I know that kind of goes against what people have been told as well from some other channels. And yeah, I get it. Light up the comments below. But essentially, I'm as realistic as I can be, understanding how these kind of things take time to kind of go through processes. We are probably talking March 2023. So there's months of time here for the price to go down to decent levels and then rally back up again. So I'm not confident in thinking that we're just, we're done correcting and we're going to the moon or anything like that. Let's kind of these things take time. And I do think we're going to kind of play out. Now, this particular wick here, although we've seen this move, it does actually create a little bit of an issue when it comes to Elliott wave theory to a degree, okay, because we have to look at this as a potential three-wave structure. There's a lot of overlap going on, which means we're not in a five-wave trend move to the downside, right? We have our daily trend lines and we have our EMAs and things like that. Those are all, top level kind of I don't want to say indicators as such. I mean, EMAs are they're used in traditional finance, stocks, and forex, for example, as determining whether or not we're in a downtrend or an uptrend. When you're below it, you're in a downtrend, and if you're above it, you're in a upward trend, right? And the trend lines, well, clues in the name, don't like them because they are subjective to the analyst who draws them on. But on the daily chart, it was incredibly clear that's a really easy trend line. No one's really going to mess around with that one too much. So you kind of get the idea. Now, from Elliott wave theory on this hourly chart, however, this particular wick does create a little bit of an issue. Okay, so we can see we pushed all the way down, we pushed back up again. Now, from here, we'd have to look at this very strangely like this, believe it or not. And you would look like that. Now, that's an incredibly strange structure, but incredibly valid at the same time. So it would be unusual. I don't really want to count it as a 5-wave structure. I think it would just be, I mean, it's possible, and this is the problem, because all of this would be kind of laddered into something that would look potentially, that's a bit bad, like this, right? So we come down into this kind of scenario, and we end up with this kind of nested 5-wave structure, leading diagonal, then down in 5 waves, up in 3, a lot of overlap in this. There's no trend from Elliott wave theory point of view here, and then we move on down. So I don't want to label it up like this, but it definitely looks like that's potentially what's going to occur here. So I'm looking for rejection all around this particular area. Now, from our momentum indicator, we've got the momentum to come up here. On the 4-hour, though, we are, of course, up in the overbought area. The 8-hour has progressed a lot to the upside now, so not looking great there. The daily, I haven't got a problem with that being down in the oversold area for a while, so that's not a problem. And the weekly has a long way to go down. Okay, so we want to be a little bit aware that there's a lot of stuff going on here that's going to be indicating that we have some room to the downside. There's a lot of downside on the cards here for XRP. And it does look like we could make this a 5-wave drop. And if it is a 5-wave drop, then that actually puts us into a bit of a bearish situation. But I don't think it's overly that bad. And this is because of how we led up to this moment, right? By zooming out here, we can see that we had 3 waves going down, 3 waves going up. And actually, if we were to go down in 5, it would make it, pretty much a pretty standard 3-3-5 corrective structure, which means, again, we are not trending from an Elliott wave theory point of view. And that would be a pretty big positive for XRP. So although I do think we have to go down lower, I don't think necessarily that that's actually negative in terms of where we think price action is going to go. Now, if I come back up into our daily and we can see our trend here, we can see that there's a couple of lows here that also, we need to pull into question just a fraction. 10 cent, yep, get that one. And up here, we have the 17.35. Now, I don't think these are going to get broken. Could be wrong. I mean, 17.35 is possible, but I'm not thinking that we're going to go down as low as 10.13. Okay, and looking at the structure of all of this here, okay, we've got good overlap. So good overlap basically essentially means that we are not trending down. Now, we could, of course, assume that this is actually a leading diagonal and we're like super bearish for a very long time. I don't think that's the case, though. A lot of the price action on XRP is incredibly volatile, and we have lots of movements in the up and down directions, pretty much driven from the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. So I'm not too concerned. I am expecting us to come down into new lower lows, lower than where we were, like at 28 cent. I still think that's going to get broken. So in fact, I will draw that line on there, because I do think that's going to get broken. And I think what we're doing here, if I actually pull this trend line down towards this level here, you can kind of see that we're just getting ourselves wedged up and we'll break down from here. I think we're going to test these low ranges. I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't revisit this particular low area of around the low 20s. I do think that's a good area to be kind of thinking about. But I do want to highlight that there's been many occasions where the XRP community have kind of got a little bit too carried away. Like this one here, for example, nice rally up towards 93 cent. Everyone thought it was going to go higher. The break back down, then we pushed back up and so forth, right? Lots of kind of hype around the SEC lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we've got very specific dates. A lot of people are psyched out about the 15th of November, the 18th of November, and so forth. And these things, they come, they go, nothing happens, and all that kind of stuff. So just kind of anchor yourselves in and start doing some research on actuals rather than theoreticals and things like that. So for now, everything's looking okay for XRP. I'm still expecting further downside. I'm not really thinking that there's terribly too much more to it than that. On this macro time frame, you can kind of quite clearly see that there's still a bit of a journey to go here. And I do think there's going to be some fantastic opportunities for accumulating XRP at much better rates. That being said, I do think we're getting close to it. But until I start seeing the right data from Bitcoin, it's really hard to say for certain. Do bear in mind that XRP bottomed out after BTC and Ethereum, right, in 2018. In 2018 bear market, Bitcoin and Ethereum, Chainlink and some others, they already bottomed out on their price action, but XRP continued to dive down. Okay, to understand that not all cryptocurrencies will bottom at the exact same time. Guys, I'm going to leave this video there. Found it useful, informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe, tap the bell. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description below, guys. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.